والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله محمد وآله الطاهرين. The topic of anger is a very, very serious, a very important topic, and we've covered this topic a few times here in the Musalla, alhamdulillah, because it's something that is a part of every human being. If you remember what we said about human instincts, human qualities, what we all have as human beings as far as our qiwa, our faculties, one of them is the faculty of anger. And it's within the very fabric of our human nafs. At times, anger can be very, very good, and at times, anger can be very, very bad. So not all anger is good, and not all anger is bad. An example for good anger is when you are provoked in an unjustly way, or when you are attacked, or when you are being violated as far as your haqq, you use your defense mechanism to repel that. You fight back. And of course, that's not only a good thing, it could even be a wajib thing in defense of your honor, in defense of your religion, in defense of your country, when you're at war, when you're in jihad, when you're being robbed, whatever it may be. Of course, within the wise, correct ways, you're not going to fight back because someone wants to steal your mobile phone and they have an armed gun in their hand, knowing that they will have no hesitation in shooting you for a $300, $400, $500 gun. Absolutely no problem with that. People have been killed, stabbed and killed, or shot and killed over a pair of shoes because they thought that they wanted to be courageous and fight back. No, that's recklessness. That's being too selfish. That's hirs. And so anger needs to always be partnered with wisdom and with correct conduct, knowing when to react and when not to react, and what the boundaries of reaction are. I'm not going to be speaking about good anger, positive anger. I don't think there's much of a need to speak about that, because in a lot of cases, in most cases, when it's really proper for a person to get angry, they have absolutely every right to do so, and it's justified. The sad thing is the negative anger, the bad anger, the rage and fury that is unfortunately very much a part of many people's lives, where they have absolutely no control over their feelings, over their reactions. They turn into thors due to the level of anger that they have. What's a thor, ya Mr. Journalist? Bull. A raging bull. Which is exactly why when you even ask yourself this question, what is anger? Obviously, we all know what anger is. and how much of our emotions is drained as a result of anger, and the different levels that we go through even when it comes to something like anger, getting to fury, getting to revenge, getting to wrath, rage, all these different words, you know, and the intensity of how uncontrollable you can become. How many times have I said this in our programs, that when you look at, even when you look at someone angry, they look completely different. Is it only because the blood is rushing to their faces that they seem to be looking angry? Alaykum salam. Hello. I was just about to tell you off, Tara. You're lucky. Is black still the fashion? Or so Daniel, we've told you a million times, stop wearing black. You're wearing black. Now these two wearing black. Come in and wearing black. I think that's a little bit blue there, but navy. Ahsantum hajina. Jazakumullah khair. Bless you. There's tissue box behind you. A person looks very, very different when they're in anger, because shaitan overcomes them. They become possessed with shaitan. And I'm going to mention a few places where even the Holy Quran mentions this, that you become overwhelmed, possessed by shaitan. He takes control of you. He mounts you over you, take control, complete control over you. And that's why don't go that water, please, because we're going to have Ahmed doing these things. The sisters, yeah, you can put a box there. Very disappointed that we don't have our regular sisters coming in these nights of Ramadan, whatever excuse they may have. We're all very disappointed, aren't we? So, when Iblis, when Shaitan takes over you, it's for a good advantage. That's why we say, for example, أعوذ بالله من همزات الشياطين. What does hamaz mean in Arabic? Poking. Poking, because that's what shaitan does. الشيطان ينزغ بينكم العداوة والبغضاء. Shaitan pokes you. Hamaz in Arabic means spur. Who knows what spur means? Who knows what a spur is? Yasiri, what is it? No idea. Zaghi, what is it? No idea. Sa'idi, what is it? No idea. Juburi, what is it? No idea. Wallah, enta, you're lucky I don't know your surname, ya Labis Aswad Dishtasha. You're lucky I don't know your surname, wallah. What's your surname? Mas'udi. Ya Mr. Mas'udi. What's spur? No, thank you very much. No. He put a lot of effort. Look. No. You know the cowboys? A cowboy, you know when they wear their boots and they've got that metal star on the back that they use to kick the horse to make it go faster. Have you seen that? Is that what you said? Here, there's a picture of it here. That's a spur. Have you seen that before? Poking. That's what shaitan does. Ali, I wouldn't take it. Did you hear what Ahmed said about your Dodgers top? I wouldn't take it. Say something back, and then Ali says something back to Ahmed. And then some baharat are added, some masala and spices are added onto it. A little bit of lying here. So say something back. You have to reply. Where's your shakhsiyah? Where's your self-dignity? Where's your honor? Why don't you defend yourself? Why are you staying quiet? And then you answer back. And then he answers back. And then you answer back. And then she answers back. And then that's what poking means. Shaitan pokes you and then pokes the other person, your opponent. Then pokes you, then pokes the other person. And unfortunately, a lot of people won't admit that they have anger issues. Won't admit that they have anger issues. And you can't judge a person by their state of anger until you push them. Until you see them in a state of anger. That's when you will know if they have that quality of suppressing their anger or not. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْضِ. Read this ayah here. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْضِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Restraining their anger, suppressing their anger. It's only when you push someone, or it's only when you see someone being pushed, when you see their reaction, and if they are someone who follows what it is that their religion wants from them in suppressing their anger. This is one of the most important of qualities of a believer. That's why we have one of our imams called Imam Musa al-Kazim, Kazmul Ghayd, suppressing your anger. Majority of people won't acknowledge and admit that they have anger issues. Sometimes you see little kids, they get so angry, the first thing that they do is they run to the kitchen, get a knife. Out of anger. They don't know what to do. They don't know the severity of what it is that they did, but they don't know what to do. Has to be dealt with. Because if you don't deal with it, then it gets worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, in most cases, if not in all cases, it's only the spoiled kids who are always getting what they want, who don't know how to control their anger. Why? Because they have never had to face a scenario where they were rejected, or where no was said to them, or when something did not go their way. And a natural reaction to this is anger. That's what a narcissist person is. That is what a manipulative person is. And unfortunately, there's a lot of this. Why do we see so much domestic violence cases of physical abuse against the spouse, against the children, without control, no level of anger? And the parent, he or she, they think they're doing really, really good. I once saw a young boy on his back, the imprint of an iron, of an uti. And that's why when it comes to anger and controlling your anger, and know that you're only going to be able to know if you have an anger issue when you are pushed, and how you need to make sure that you prepare for yourself for that particular scenario. Let's ask ourselves these questions. Iqra, Mr. Journalist. Yes. Sorry, say, did you want to say something? Giving back. Subhanallah. Yeah. Yeah. Positive emotions. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Ahsantum. Okay, read, Mr. Journalist. Okay, let's be honest. Who, in all of these questions, who would answer yes to any of them? Put your hand up. Good. That's good. We've got some honest people. Oh, all of the sisters. All right. What's wrong, Ahmed? Why don't you put your hand up? Yeah, and if someone took the ball off you, you're not going to get angry. على كيفك. احنا we know you. نعرفك كلش زين. Anger is very, yes, yes, yes. Paying attention, everyone, please. Excellent. Yeah. 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 Inshallah. That's something that we're going to be speaking about. Anger. What is, let's look into the psychology of anger. Let's look into, how we need to address this issue in its depth. Yani, I'm sure all of you have come to realize the last couple of nights that we're not just saying, oh, courage is good, be a brave person. No. We're looking into the nafsiyah, the psychology of these particular characteristics, and how we not only need to address it, but how we can adopt it as well. With anger also, it's not enough for us to just say anger is bad, stay away from anger, but how are we able to put our finger on the very origin, the base, the asl of anger, and deal with it and cure it if we have a problem of anger. No one should say that, oh yeah, I don't have an anger problem or I can't. Everyone, we all need improvements. We all need to improve ourselves somehow. And even if you haven't experienced some kind of rage in your life, there will come a time where this is going to happen to you. So you have to equip yourself. We've mentioned this a few times, haven't we? Preemptive strike. preparing yourself for that kind of situation. Anger is usually happening as a result, as a reaction to something being done by somebody else, swearing at you, taking something from you, hitting you, beeping their horn at you, right? Or because it's something that you've experienced within yourself, your anger, forgetting something, stop playing with the bottles, ya Fatima, ya Jannat. It's only these big boys that do it. Now you've got little girls who do it. Yourself, forgetting something, you made a mistake, you get angry at yourself, you know, whatever it may be. Different circumstances, you know, you're in the middle of traffic and you've got an appointment and you're late to the appointment, you get angry. How do you control yourself in that situation? Do you start, you know, in that anger and that frustration that you have, do you keep your hood on, or do you lose it and start, you know, going faster and faster? It's Easter holidays, you get double demerits, you lose your license, and tistahil, you know, you deserve it. Why did you get angry in the first place? Why didn't you leave earlier so you don't have to be in this kind of situation? Or you remember something that happened 7 years ago and you're having a shower, and then you come up with the different scenarios of how you would have reacted, you know, giving them an uppercut, which you didn't, and all these other things. Who does that usually? Imagine different scenarios of how they should have reacted, which they didn't. Huh? So therefore, looking at the cognitive behavior of, you know, where, you know, anger originates, and, you know, why it makes you so irrational in what it is that you're doing or that you're going to do, leading to out of control bursts, becoming abusive, verbally, physically, sometimes even murder. How many times do you read stories or watch on the news about a guy losing control, committing murder-suicide, killing everyone in the family, and then killing themselves? How many times do you hear about these things? Over shunu, over an argument. He saw her doing this, went into rage. She saw him doing this, went into rage. Wasn't there a story about a month ago about a lady who killed her husband because she saw a picture of him with another lady, and it turned out that it was her 20 years ago? Did you heard that story? It was about a month ago maybe. You raise your voice, you slam your door. You know how many houses I've been to and there's holes in the hayat, like the one next to صلحتوا هذا الحائط. Did they fix that hole in the wall? Oh. How many times have you been to houses where you've got holes in the walls because the guy loses control and he wants to hit something, so he hits the wall? That's not a good thing, by the way, especially if you're married and you are a wife and you experience your husband breaking a plate, throwing a plate, or you know, punching a wall. It's a very, very big, dangerous red flag. Why? Because he is desensitizing you towards violence. Now it's the wall. I wish it was you. It might be you the next time. Always remember that when it comes to this kind of anger, in a lot of cases, it's because of the narcissistic way of how that person is. Yes, it's not always men, but in 99% of the time, it is a man. whose rage and violence, whose rage and anger leads to violence. Not to say that women don't get angry. Women do get angry, but it's less violence. It's more a matter of defense mechanism that she has, pushing him away or things like that. But if you look at the statistics, in most cases of domestic violence, it's coming from the man. And it all comes down to anger. And that's why in a lot of these cases, they have a mandatory angry management course that they have to go through. And therefore, your outburst of anger is, manifested, presents itself in different ways, either by verbal abuse, raising your voice, shouting, screaming, physical abuse, not only at your opponent, at the person, maybe at the wall, maybe slamming the door, kicking things, breaking things, basically turning into a, what did I say? Yeah. Anger is a problem. Again, we said this is the negative anger. When it harms you, it turns into aggression. It harms people around you. It ruins your opportunities to stay in a school. You're being suspended again and again and again. You're being expelled because someone made fun of your shirt and you didn't know how to react. You couldn't say sticks and stones break my bones, but shuno. What do they say? Have you heard that before or not? What's the rest of it, Sajjad? Thank you. Is that what you say in your country, back Kabul, wherever you're from? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So what if someone mocks you for something? Look at Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam. Someone said to him, Ya Baqar, because Baqir, similar to the word Baqar. Look at how Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam replied, that's not what my mother called me. That's not the name that was given to me. What a beautiful name. But then you got Ali, he'll break the guy's jaw, not teeth, jaw, if someone said something to him. And of course, something becomes consistent and frequent and intense and ongoing, and you get provoked by the most easy, most simple of things. Your food has got a little bit less salt, milh. The whole table, you throw it over and you get angry. And where's the milh? Why can't I see the meat? Where are the big qata' my laham? Who took my last donuts? And all these kind of things. Is that you, Ahmed? Why is he laughing, lad? We have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. Where does anger come from? The prefrontal cortex. Right? That's where emotions are all there. Right? And that's where this whole ma'arika, this whole battle starts between your emotions, your heart, your aql, and ultimately, the stronger you are, the more you will suppress your anger. The weaker you are, the less control you have over yourself. There are some people who enter into some kind of anger cycle. And there's also something else called the abuse cycle. Something pushes you to get angry. You get angry, you become abusive. You blame the other person. It's your fault that I hit you. It's your fault that I hit you. Why didn't you put salt in the food? It's your fault that I hit you. Blaming. An angry person, in most cases, is a coward. Is a coward. Because in most cases, an angry person will not pick on someone bigger than them, stronger than them. They will always pick on someone that is weaker than them. In most cases, the wife, breaking her emotions, blaming her for his outbursts of anger. And then, in this cycle, after blaming, shows level of remorse. Oh, I love you, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was your fault, but I'm sorry. And breaks into tears. You know, don't tell anyone what happened, right? I'm being recorded, so I can't use the word idiot. But she falls into this cycle, unfortunately. Falls into this cycle. Yes, in any case, someone's going to get angry. We all get angry. But when it turns into a cycle happening again and again and again, and you see these red flags, get out. Get out. Because that cycle is going to happen again. After the remorse, a cooling off period, a few days, then something else. Last time it was milih, last time it was salt, next time is you broke his mug accidentally, and all these other things. It's very sad, actually. Very sad. Very sad that people have to suffer. In Australia, especially, has a high level of domestic violence, by the way. A high level of domestic violence. And we as Muslims, we need to be the first to condemn this kind of behavior. But it all comes from anger and the inability to suppress one's anger. Nothing justifies this kind of anger or violence. Look at this situation. Simple kind of road incident. Mathalan, for example, driver cuts you off. You say, look at this person. They usually come from a specific nationality, not going to be racist. Right? You get emotional, you get angry, you want to vent out your anger, you want to let out your frustration, right? Either verbally or maybe physically, or get out of your car, or tailgate the person, or all of these other things that usually happen. And that's why it's really important when you pick up on these things that are happening to you, that means anger is coming. You start sweating, you start getting red, you start getting, face gets red, hot, rapid breathing, you start making a fist, right? You get quiet, you don't become vocal anymore because too much things are rushing into your mind. And this is when Shaitan says, wow, golden opportunity, let me take over. Look at all the bad things that happen to you. A person who's always angry dies early. Dies early. Too much stress, too much issues happening. Cholesterol, depression, heart disease, high blood pressure. Alif marad this person has. And all because of them not being he or she, not being he or she or they, not being able to control their, his, her, their anger. Is there another pronoun happening these days? Or in relationships, a lot of divorces happen because of anger. A lot of dysfunctional families. Stop chit-chatting, please. Saadi, you were good yesterday. What happened to you today? Was it the food? Was it the futur that you had? Yeah, Ghay, that's it. Good boys. Habab, Afia. Relationships. A lot of sons and daughters end up running away from home because of the situation at home and the violence. Wives, husbands, siblings, because of anger. Because if you don't control your anger, it will really, really have a lot of damage around you. A lot of people can't keep a job because they can't deal with customers or clients. You know, a Karen comes in and just that's it, he just loses it at her. Or can't work with a team. Right? We spoke about this. Psychological consequences of anger. You're going to damage your relationships. You're going to have poor decisions because when you're angry, you don't think right. When you're angry, you don't think right. Imam Ali alayhi salam, how many times have I mentioned this hadith? Al-ghadab awwaluhu junoon. It starts with turning into a majnoon. A what do we say? What do Iraqis say? Mkhabbal. To become a majnoon, you don't know what's in front of you. You don't care what you say. That's what a majnoon is. Someone who's insane, doesn't care what they say, what they do, doesn't care of the consequences. He turns into a mkhabbal, a majnoon, insane, crazy person. أوله جنون وآخره ندم. And later on, when things cool down, they start to regret. وآخره ندم. Oh my God, why did I say to my mum? Why did I tell her this? Why did I react in this way? Why did I raise my voice? Why did I shout? Why did I say this particular thing? Why did I hit them in this particular way? That's it. That's how you not show your anger, Ya Masoudi. By shaking hands. Good on ya. Medical issues, we've already said that. Anger, okay. Get angry, suppress it. Aggression is when you show it. No one's saying don't get angry. Get angry, but keep it under control. Keep it under control. Right? This is something else. I'm going to just rush through these because I'm repeating a lot of them. Anger is just, sometimes anger is just embarrassment. I embarrass you. I say something about you. Ahmed's haircut is this. He gets embarrassed. He gets angry. But he waits for a nice time to get back at me. Sometimes it's stress. I just, pushed you at the wrong time. You're very, very stressed. Right? It's just the wrong time and I pushed the wrong button and then you just lost it with rage and fury. Insecurity, and a lot of times it's also just insecurity because you have low self-esteem, you have low self-value, you're jealous, so you just get angry and you cover it up. That's how bullies are. Bullies are just big on the outside and very small on the inside. Bullies do these things to cover up their insecurities. That's why an angry person is, in most cases, an insecure person. Fear. Brahms, can you stop doing that before I get angry? What about the strategy? Create a mental picture of the consequences. Yani, if I throw this microphone at you because I got angry, what about the consequences that are going to happen? People are going to think bad. People are going to criticize. I'm going to have to be further humiliated because I'm going to be forced to come and apologize to you, and all the other bad circumstances and consequences that are going to happen. So in the first place, I need to stop doing it. I need to not do it and avoid it. You know how many times over the most simple of things people get into fights? Even in acts of ibadah. The Hajji, he comes in, he puts his turba on the musalla area for his prayer. He goes and does wudu. Another Hajji comes and he sees that and he pushes it over to the other side and he stands there. He wants to pray. The Hajji comes back. Why did you move this? No, why did you move that? Yeah, you did this. Why did you do that? And then they end up having a punch on. Maybe in the middle of the masjid, in the middle of the haram, in the middle of doing tawaf, in the most important of acts of worship, you see people having fights. Ask anyone who's been to Hajj and how many punch-ons there is that you usually see, للأسف الشديد, over air condition. Over air condition. One wants it on, one wants it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Deg boxat saret. Think of the consequences. How embarrassing for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Oh yeah, you remember when Hajj Ali had a punch on with someone because chap behesh nigah kard. Create a mental picture. Create a mental picture of the good things. Create a mental picture of the good things. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replacing you with goods if you suppress your anger and all of these other things. What about anger management? You are in charge of your feelings. You are in control. As I said, it's okay to be angry. It's a part of your human features, but you just need to learn how to express it. Strategies. Know what triggers you. Leave the situation. Slow breathing. Very important. Keeping your breathing under control. Really, really important. And all of these other things that are important to say. I copy pasted this, by the way. All right, holding on. This was a part of the, what's his name? I wouldn't put that. She's bad hijab, but sorry about that. Keep away from anger. Say, as it says, أعوذ, what was the ayah again? همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بالله أن أعوذ, what was the ayah again? Where was the ayah? Where was it? In the picture. No, it's not. Oh, there it is. No, it's not. من همزات الشياطين وأن يحضرون وأعوذ بك أن يحضرون. يعني seeking refuge, الاستعاذة. One second. Yep, I'm going to say that. Yep. So how do you keep away from, يعني Saad, you were over there being naughty, now you're over here being naughty. Like look how big your lihya is. Look how big you are. You're like 30 something years old. I have to tell you off. And look at these little boys here, Darkhizi and journalist and Ibrahim. Look how nice and polite they are. And the girls over here, look at them. And the big boys are the naughty boys. Isti'adha. When you're angry, you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You have to change your place again. Another thing, do wudu. Splash water on your face. That will calm you down because you're very, very hot. Aren't you, Nisar? So you splash water on your face. You do wudu. If you're standing up, the hadith says, and this, as the sister said, if you're standing up, you sit down. Everyone's reading, huh? If you're standing up, this is from a hadith. All of these 4 things are from hadith. If you're standing up, you sit down. If you're sitting down, you lie down. If you lie down, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to be able to do anything because you're not going to want to defend yourself. And that's why in a lot of cases, the first thing that a person does when they get angry, they want to stand up. Do exactly the opposite. Do exactly the opposite. These are strategies for you to suppress your anger. Walk away. You know this person too angry. That's it. A raging bull. She's too angry. He's too angry. I can't talk to them now. Let them cool down for a while. I'll speak to them in another 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Walk away. Don't walk away and slam the door because that's going to get them even more angry. Walk away to make sure that you are not engaging in having a to and from kind of argument that will aggravate the situation even more. Look at the hadiths from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Imam Ali, Al-ghadabu narul qulub. Anger is the fire of the hearts. Narul qulub. Anger is the fire of the hearts. Al-hiddah, which means anger. Darbun min al-junun. It's a type of khbalat. It's a type of insanity. لأن صاحبها يندم. Because the person getting angry will later on regret. فإن لم يندم. What happens if they don't regret? Then, of course, then فجنونه مستحكم. Then they are eternally and forever, permanently insane. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, أعظم الناس سلطانا. The greatest of people who are in control. The greatest of people who are in control over themselves. من قمع غضبه. One who uproots his or her anger and kills and suppresses his or her lust. وَأَمَاتَ. Kills their lust. Talking about haram lust, of course, here. Imam Ali also says, رَأْسُ الْفَضَائِل مِلْكُ الْغَضَبِ. The peak, the best of virtue. The best of virtue, you should have this as a tattoo on your back. The best of virtue is controlling your anger. Was that a good idea? Good suggestion? Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam. Inna hadha al-ghadab. This anger. Jamratun min ash-shaytan. What's jamra mean? Coal. It's a coal. What's coal in Arabic? I just said jamra. Now you're saying faham. Who said faham? What's it in Farsi? Huh? What is it? No, I heard, I saw him telling you. So, oh, you told him, huh? Jamratun min ash-shaytan توقد في قلب ابن Adam. It is ignited in the heart of Ibn Adam, of a human being. وَإِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ إِذَا غَضَبْ احْمَرَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ. And when you get angry, your eyes become red. Because that igniting of the fire, of the charcoal, of the zoghal is coming into your eyes. وَانْتَفَخَتْ أَوْدَاجُهُ. And then your veins start to expand and blood starts to boil. وَدَخَلَ الشَّيْطَانُ فِيهِ. And shaitan comes into you, possessing you. Right? Like that movie Possession, or the other movie, what was it called? What was that movie called? What was that movie called? The famous Exorcist. It's a very nice it's for children. It's a children's movie. You should watch it. Exorcist. Has anyone seen it? The original one. No one's seen it? Oh, it's haram. Yes, sorry. Sorry about that. Encouraging people in Ramadan to watch. فَإِذَا خَافَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. And therefore, with shaitan coming into you, if you're scared of yourself, فَلْيَلْزَمُ الْأَرْضِ. Stay down. Stay down onto the ground. فَإِنَّ رِجْزَ الشَّيْطَانِ يَذْهَبَ عَنْهُ عِنْدَ ذَلِكَ. Because then the impurities or the clinging of the shaitan will go away if you go down to the ground. And you're standing up, you sit down or whatnot. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, الغضب يفسد الإيمان كما يفسد الخل العسل. Anger will corrupt your faith. Are we listening, boys? Anger will corrupt your faith the way vinegar corrupts honey. Anger will corrupt your faith, will destroy your faith the way vinegar destroys honey. We have to be very, very careful. Again, it's normal for any person to get angry, but you have to suppress. You have to keep it under control. You can't allow yourself to turn into a majnoon person who lacks any accountability or responsibility and does the worst of things. Later on, you will regret. It will ruin your reputation. It will ruin your marriage. It will ruin your future. It will ruin your school. It will ruin your friendship with other people. It will ruin your work. Bless you. We all need to be very, very careful and adopt this quality of suppressing our anger, of kadhmul ghayd. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi tahirin.